The conflict cycle is a framework to explain the components of a typical conflict. Some conflicts move around the circle in an orderly way, but many more conflicts move around and across the conflict cycle because conflict isn't usually orderly and predictable, given the different personalities, life experiences, and perspectives of the participants, or the so-called baggage that each person brings to a conflict. Let's start at the top. The suitcase symbolizes our baggage. In other words, everything we bring to every conflict, our beliefs, attitudes, worldviews, values, perhaps our previous experiences with the person or the issue which influence the current conflict. All of this can influence the creation of conflict and the progression of the conflict. When the conflict occurs, rather than thinking about the conflict and identifying how we feel and why, and then sitting down to talk with the person, we often shoot across the conflict cycle directly to a response, which might be helpful or not. Oftentimes, people try to solve a conflict or move across the circumference of the circle to a behavior or response before they even know what the conflict is about. What the conflict cycle points out to us is the importance of slowing down the conflict, slowing down your response in order to ensure that you understand what the conflict is about for you and for the other before you respond. So, we spend some time considering it within ourselves, reflected by the perceptions and thinking icon, which may include taking a time out to process it. It may involve putting some distance between the conflict and your reaction, what Bill Ury of the Harvard Negotiation Project refers to as going to the balcony, to look at the conflict from different perspectives. This can be challenging to do sometimes. Next, you and the person you are in conflict with can talk, communicating as effectively as possible, considering the situation, the timing, and the consequences of not communicating. Then, a behavior or a response is appropriate after this analysis has been done, and, of course, the hope is that the outcome or consequence will be positive. Because we are human, we do not follow the conflict cycle faithfully and thoughtfully, but we can practice slowing down the conflict, and we can learn the skills of going through the conflict cycle analysis.